Well, welcome to 6-5 on the road. We're here at the Old Hickory Restaurant at the Gaylord in Washington, D.C., talking about tech, talking about some great topics here. My name is Mitch Ashley with 6-5 Media, and I'm joined by a couple of folks from the BMC organization, Anthony DiStauro.
Yes, that's correct.
And also Liat Sokolov.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi.
Good to be chatting with you.
Thanks for having us.
You know, it's the age of AI, so we got to talk about AI. We'll just bring it up right up front.
Absolutely.
Mainframe environment, critical to running, business applications, performance issues, all kinds of things that we need to triage. I know you have hybrid AI as something new, combining generative AI, machine learning, a whole number of technologies. Talk about how that's helping us with those challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. So as the mainframe environment keeps increasing in complexity and size, right? Mainframe space is growing. We're looking to apply AI techniques in a variety of different areas, especially in the AIOps space. But what approach do we take to that? What is the best approach to solving these particular problems that we have in the AI space? So, at some point, people were looking at rule-based AI systems, machine learning, then generative AI came onto the scene, and there's a mad rush to generative AI, and maybe, that's going to help. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to, it's not just one particular AI technique that is going to solve our problems. We got to take a step back and look at the problem through the lens of the different AI techniques that are available and learn to pull these different techniques together, tie them together, and that's what we're calling hybrid AI. It's leaning on the best techniques that we have and then applying that, and we're actually doing that with BMC AIOps Insight. It's one of our products that is using hybrid AI to solve some pretty complex problems in the AI space.
Use the best parts of AI for what they're best at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the performance monitoring part of this and sort of the response element of, we're past the days of alerts and alarms and much more sophisticated responses we have to have.
Yeah, so if up until now we've seen the traditional AI comes into play, we're thinking about those predefined thresholds or relying on experts, then the hybrid AI comes into play where we blend the good of all. So we do have the rule-based systems in place. We have the machine learning models to predict and help us diagnose and classify what are the problems. And generative AI comes into play where explaining all of those complexities in a very plain language. So with AIOps Insight, with BMC AIOps Insight, we already have the rule-based and the machine learning in place, looking at all those ZOS or DB2 events that are happening. And we have recently introduced the explanation of those root cause issues that we can explain in very simple words what is happening. So it's not just understanding the alerts or flagging events. It's also explaining why things are happening, and even better, what should we do in order to resolve that.
Taking it to the next level. Yeah. Big help. Talk about AI agents. That means a lot of things to a lot of people. You kind of have to define terms these days. In the context of operations, performance, things like that.
Yep.
Talk to us about the approach.
That goes back to what I was saying before. Our environments are getting so complex, right? And so large that there is gaps, especially in the monitoring area. And how do we fill those gaps? We have domain expertise challenges in the mainframe space. And how do we overcome that? So we take a step back and we're like, well, how can we look at AI agents as a true workforce to help us? It's not to replace us by any means in this space. It's to augment our skills. It's to help augment the next generation that's coming into our space. So we can take a step back and look holistically across our monitoring space and what we want to do. We can start identifying AI agents that we can stitch together to help with workflows or processes that we want to put in place. The nice thing about AI agents is that they're reusable. As we identify new workflows or new processes we want to put in place, we can draw on the expertise of each of these agents in their respective areas and stitch them together in new ways. And then you combine that with hybrid AI. So if we look at AI agents as this living, breathing entity, an expert that we're deploying into our AIOps environment, the internal implementation or representation of those AI agents will utilize hybrid AI techniques. And the most important thing is they all can work with one another, communicate with one another, lean on one another for assistance in this environment. And again, truly augmenting someone's abilities in the AI space.
Exciting times. Amazing work we could do now. Just think what we'll be 6-12 months from now. Talk about mean time to repair. We're obviously looking for stability from our systems. There's processes that we have to use to help when we need to respond. Talk a little bit about how hybrid AI fits into that.
So, yeah, we can think about hybrid AI as a helper in reducing this mean time to repair, where we have those agents that Anthony just mentioned to continuously monitor everything that is happening. And when something happens, it can provide these clear explanations and also the remediation. So imagine that instead of going through complex logs, hours and hours of digging into that, you can just have harness the power of the Gen AI to make sense of everything, shorten the time that you go through detection to detect what's happening. And also the generative AI and the AI agents can also offer the next steps to remediate and even create a script for you if you want to run that and resolve that.
So I just want to add something to what you were saying there. It's a really good point. I'm almost looking at this in a three-phase approach with AI agents coming onto the scene. The MTTD, reducing that detection time. MTTR, as Liat was just describing, but it's also then the communication aspect of that, right? So if we get to a point where we got a true agentic environment where the agents are doing their roles of responsibility, at the very end of that, to summarize everything that happened, to communicate that, whether it's to internal stakeholders, whether it's to customers, we can automate all of this using AI agents to some form or another. So that's really what we're looking at, is looking at that, again, the holistic approach from MTTD, MTTR, and then the communication piece and everything that happened in between. And when it comes to the MTTR part of that, we're also looking at our agents communicating to your ITSM system, right? Looking back on history. Did we have this type of problem before? What was done to resolve that? And so those agents can take action even based on history as we go forward.
Very good. Well, it's been fantastic talking with you both, and appreciate all the great information about hybrid AI and applying that in our environment. So thanks for joining us for this 6.5 on the road. We'd love to have you subscribe to our content, follow us on social media, and of course, you can go to 65media.com and check out all the great information we have available. We'll talk to you soon.